try that again. Good morning. How you doing? It's Tuesday, and we're having a lovely morning here in the PDawgKnight household. Well, I am. I got some laundry folded. That's good. And I'm here on time, and I had breakfast already, and I think I've got the whole thing set up correctly. So it's going to be a good day, right? Yes. Anyway, whole bunch of stuff going on. The harassment of Kyrsten Sinema continues. We'll talk about that a little bit because interesting reactions from certain people. And also we're finding out where this group is coming from, who funded it. And it'll be no surprise. Trust me, it'll be no surprise whatsoever. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. And then I just got a mishmash of items that I'll try to get to, and we'll see how many we get to, and then we'll end the show. And that's how it goes around here sometimes. I open tons of tabs, and hopefully we'll have time to get through most of them. So anyway, sit back, relax, enjoy a cup of reparations with Big Daddy, and we'll see you in a minute. Play the intro, please. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight. All right, stop that music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome to the PDawgKnight Channel. It is Tuesday, the 5th of October, 2021. And, yesterday I mentioned my dad's birthday, my dad I grew up with, and then I realized, oh my God, yesterday was October 4th. That's my son's birthday. Now, I didn't forget my son's birthday once I got off the stream. I'm like, oh, wait, this is my son's birthday. My dad's birthday is tomorrow because they're one day apart. So anyway, if you wanted to wish a happy birthday to Big G, well, I don't know. He never watches the show anymore, so he's not here. But anyway, you can say happy birthday, Big G, from yesterday, and then it's my dad's birthday today. My dad passed like 10 years ago, but I do appreciate everything he and my mom did for me, giving me a nice life for a kid who didn't have a family up until they were 4 years old, other than my foster family. Although I do remember a little bit about my foster family, and they were actually really cool. Is this dark screen? Why is this not transitioning? That's dumb. Here, let's fix that. There we go. How you doing? Yeah, I know. Thank you for doing that. So anyway, yeah, I had a great life growing up, thanks to the family that adopted me, and now also later in life being able to meet my parents, my natural parents, and in fact my mother. My distinguished my mom is who I grew up with. My mother is the woman who gave me life. My mother's going to come today, and she's going to be visiting for a couple weeks, and we're excited about that. We just did a little house cleaning yesterday, getting ready for that event, and I don't know, you'll probably get to meet her on a Saturday trail stop stream because my mother and I have nearly opposite politics, and it's not a good thing that we never talk about politics because it just never turns out good. And so, but I love her to death, and I'm excited that she's coming here, and we'll have a fun stream on Saturday, joining us with Lady Boomer, and I will be my mother, Kathleen, and she's a great lady. Love her to death. Let's see. Do I have any other things? You know what? Let's say good morning to everybody. If you haven't, by the way, if you haven't shared the stream out on social media, please do so. You can retweet me on social media. I'm at PDawgKnight on Twitter, Minds, Gab, Parler, CloudHub, and Getter. Is that all of them? And Minds.com too. So if you don't do Twitter, but you do one of those others, I really don't have people put stuff on Facebook. I mean, I don't hardly use Facebook, so I guess I don't. I do have a PDawgKnight Facebook page, but I guess I don't really use it. So, go figure. Anyway, let's see. Let's say good morning to everybody, and then we'll just get into the news because there's a lot to go through today. And if I could open 80 tabs because I go through a lot of headlines and stuff every morning, and my aggregator too, my favorite aggregator, has a ton of stuff out there. I would love to just go through it all, but it would take 3-4 hour show. And then you go to the Discord, and there's always stuff in there. Gunfox especially is prolific in putting stuff in the Discord, and you know, it could go for a long time, but we'll get through like I said, we'll get through what I can get to. But let's say good morning to everybody. First in the chat today. Oops, let me get rid of this. Unpin that. First in the chat today is Somnambule Nation is quick on the draw. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. And also good morning to K Show. What's happening? Oh, Gunfox is here. Good. Thank you. First of all, let's get to the first sponsor, because Gunfox61 is the first sponsor on Streamlabs today. And Gunfox,
you are the new Streamlabs
Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show today. Gunfox says Amazon and Facebook, a seat at the UN? Wait, what? Also, Facebook owner loses $6 billion during the downtime. Aww. Poor Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about Facebook today. I know it went down. Here's the funny thing. So Facebook goes down for quite a bit yesterday. I don't even know how long it was down. It might, is it back up? I'm sure it is. What's funny about that? I had no idea. That's how little I use Facebook until finally I noticed someone on Twitter saying that Facebook was down. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. You know, figured it'd be down for just a little bit of time, but it is what it is. FTG, you know. All right, thank you so much, Gunfox, for sponsoring the show and also for being a great administrator of the the Discord server. Excuse me. Also, good morning to Don Julio's in the house, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man, formerly Don Kedick. I always cracked up when I said that. You know, it's funny. It took me the longest time to even figure out that was a joke. Don Kedick. That was hilarious. But back to being Don Julio. Also, good morning, Jesse Leon, Mike Savage, Blarg, Jonathan Peterson. Jesse Leon's in the house. Also, good morning, Select Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Good morning also. Did I say, yes, I said Jonathan Peterson. Good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Also, good morning to, let's see, Crack's in the house. Maddie's in the, oh, what the hell did I do there? Stop. Maddie's in the house. There we go for Maddie and Ronan. They're trucker people, if you didn't know that already. Also, good morning to Avocados Diabli, the Devil's Advocate. Good morning, Renee Mayette, Ride Deos, Jedi Ghost Bear, TC's in the house, who subscribed yesterday because he thought he was already subscribed, and now you know you're subscribed because I keep telling you. Anyway, good morning also to Denver. What's happening? I'm always wondering who Denver is. Is Denver... see, okay, so here's the thing. My son just moved to Denver, and I just wonder... I'm like, is my son watching the show as Denver? Or is that Denver as somebody else? I don't know. But anyway, welcome back. Nice to see you. Also, good morning, Longfish61. Nice to see you back. Lesser Logic's in the house. Nice to see you. Richo, my friend from Down Under, is here. Good morning. And Gunfox61 already said, Judafine, hello from Scotland. Welcome to you from Scotland. Glad you're here. Well, I'm not from Scotland, but I'm glad you're from Scotland. Lady Boomer loves when people from other lands come on the show, especially during the Trail Stop stream. But so thank you for joining me today. So lots of people in the house. If you like what we do, hit the like button sometime during the show, and if you would share the stream, that's really helpful. You know, I've actually got about 20 new subs over the last couple weeks just from people sharing the stream, and some of it's from my activity on Twitter because I've got a bunch of new followers on Twitter too. But yeah, share the stream, and then if you'd like to sponsor the show, you can do that in a couple different ways. All are down in the description down below, but the easiest are YouTube Super Chat, or if you don't want to give 30% to Susan, you can use the Streamlabs link or go to PDawgKnight.live. You can watch the show and the little the sponsor links up in the right-hand corner, and it's all one-stop shopping. So, all right. Oh, it's not open mic day. Let me fix that. For several days, I've had this open mic thing, and I keep forgetting to turn it off. So let's turn off the open mic day link because silly effing me. So give me a moment. I will turn that off so you don't have to see that over and over again. Open mic day. It is not open mic day. All right, take care of that. disregard the open mic day thing. All right, let's get into news. So yesterday, I found it interesting. We saw that video of Kyrsten Sinema being followed into a bathroom, being harassed by a 20-year resident of the United States by some nefarious means, aka an illegal alien. Anyway, chased her to the bathroom, right? And I was like, what the F are you doing? Well, guess what? Now, it's happened on a plane, thus the name of the stream today, I Will Harass You on a Plane. So now one of these women was on a plane with Kyrsten Sinema. Now, how this woman got on the same plane, maybe she's just a stalker. I don't know. But here's the video of this woman. Oh, there you go. Gunfox, there you are, the superstar donor of the day. Had to put it up there. This woman chases or goes up on a plane. Good morning, Uncle Bad Touch. Oh, more people are coming in. Uncle Bad Touch is here, and Tyler F is here. Uncle Bad Touch, I know who you are.
Come on, man.
Uncle Bad Touch, we know. Anyway, so here's this, I don't know if I want to call her a psychopath, but here she is. A little loud, isn't it? Holy smokes, that's really loud. I'll turn that down a little bit. Maybe. There we go.
Senator, hello. How are you?
On a plane. Now, first of all, if I were the senator, I would just say, flight attendants, please take this woman away.
You can commit, as my senator, if you can commit to passing a reconciliation that could provide a pathway to citizenship for immigrants.
So she's
she's
saying that we want you to pass the reconciliation bill or the bill so that we have a pathway to citizenship for illegal immigrants. Now, I've got a question. Why does a bill about infrastructure, what does that have to do with anything leaving a pathway to citizenship to illegal immigrants? Now, I know that that's not just the infrastructure bill. It's part of that big, monstrous $3.5 trillion package that they're working on. But, this, okay, wait a minute. Why is this woman harassing on a plane? And anyway, so here we go.
I need to know if you can commit to passing a budget reconciliation that would include immigration and citizenship for people to be protected, like me and many others.
No, she should not do that.
Can you commit to that?
She should absolutely not do that. Okay. And so, there's a lot of people in Arizona. I'm guessing there's a lot of people in Arizona who are thinking FTG. Maybe not in that exact terminology, but I'm thinking that Arizona is overrun by people coming into the country illegally. And right now there are masses heading toward the border and coming across. And it's not just that 15,000 Haitians. Now they're reporting that there are multiple groups, as many as 100,000 heading toward the border right now. And right now we just say, fuck it, we'll just come on in. We'll figure it out later. Interesting. That wasn't happening in the last couple of years of the Trump administration. Maybe because we set some rules that made them have to go back or stay in Mexico while they were processing claims. But now they're not even stopping them. They're bringing them in, they're processing them, and then they're just letting them go in the country. They sent some of the Haitians back, but not a whole lot of them. Most of them are still here. Thank you, Gunfox61, for another sponsorship of the show, who says, speaking of Discord, we have a bit that does some different things. Also, I have been posting pictures of work, news videos, breaking news, 2 killed in shootout yesterday on a Southwest Chief Amtrak trains shooter and a DEA agent. I'm assuming that means those 2 died. Oh man, I'll have to check that out. Also, I'm starting to I'm spending more time on Discord, just reading articles and stuff. because I know I haven't been the best at that. You know, I need to put it on my phone. That's what I should probably do, because then I can spend some more time on it. Because like I went through a whole bunch of articles yesterday that I hadn't seen yet, and I used a couple on the show. But anyway, thank you, GunFox61, for sponsoring the show. We appreciate you greatly, of course. Anyway, we don't need to watch this video. The rest, she eventually stops talking to her and then goes in the bathroom, and the flight attendants begin questioning her about why she's following this woman on the plane. So far left-wing activists harassed Kyrsten Sinema during a flight on Monday and at the airport in their attempts to get her to pass Democratic Joe Biden's agenda. The incident comes after leftists creepily chased Sinema into a bathroom where they berated her over the weekend. I recorded her as she used the bathroom. Well, they didn't record her taking a dump, but they did record her as she was washing her hands and stuff. Anyway, so I'm a DACA recipient from Arizona who volunteered to help elect Senator Sinema. Far-left group ADAC posted on Twitter Monday. So this is the tweet the ADAC. Let's talk about the ADAC next, though, because I want to tell you a little bit about them. That's why I wanted to highlight this again. Real quick, I think a couple more people showed up. Formerly Rod Line, or Rod Line, is in the house. Also, good morning, nobody, not me. And I think that's it. So, before I get to that, now here's Biden's reaction to this. And this is from the Daily Wire. Biden on Kyrsten Sinema being harassed in the bathroom. It happens to everybody. It's part of the process. Really? That's part of the process? Wow. Okay, President Joe Biden just downplayed left-wing activists harassing Senator Kyrsten Sinema in a bathroom over the weekend, saying it happens to everybody and it was part of the process. Several activists repeatedly championed Joe Biden's Build Back Better butthole agenda after chasing Sinema into a bathroom at Arizona State University, where they recorded her. Biden was asked about the incident during a short press conference on Monday by Fox News White House correspondent Peter Doocy. Here it is. Well, first of all, here's the harassment part.
Mr. President, you're talking about how you have 48 Democratic votes right now. The other two have been pressured over the weekend by activists. Joe Manchin had people on kayaks show up to his boat to yell at him. Senator Sinema last night was chased into a restroom. Do you think that those tactics are crossing a line?
I don't think they're appropriate tactics, but it happens to everybody. From the only people it doesn't happen to are people who have Secret Service standing around them. It's part of the process. Yes, sir.
Just really quickly, a lot of people have been trying to attack immigration.
Mr. President, I know you don't want to comment on other senators' positions in the negotiations.
It happens to everybody. It's just part of the process. Yeah, not really. Not really part of the process. So basically he's downplaying it. By the way, let's go, Brandon. Whoa, what the hell? That's what I do. Okay, there we go. Let's go, Brandon. That is going to be,
ladies and gentlemen, coming
the
to
new
you
cry,
live from the
think.
Lucky Dog
And it
studio
just-
in a
and
hidden
in fact,
location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of
Joe
America.
Biden's face and
It's a
saying,
brother
"Let's
making
go,
his own
Brandon."
way, but with all the wrong
Bullets
opinions.
anyway.
Welcome to the
Thank you,
Morning
Black
Night
Hebrew
Live
Israelite, for
with your
sponsoring the
host,
show.
yours
Via
truly,
Streamlabs. Thank you, sir. Who says T-bone steak, $35. Gasoline, $4.20 a gallon. Milk, $5.50 a gallon. Watching the American people chant "fuck Joe Biden" because he's a gigantic fuck up, priceless. Oops, I messed it up. Can I have another chance? T-bone steak, $35. Gasoline, $4.20 a gallon. Milk, $5.50 a gallon. Watching the American people chant "fuck Joe Biden" because he's a gigantic fuck up, priceless.
That's right.
Fuck Joe Biden. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelites. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelites. That is fantastic.
That's right.
And thank you for sponsoring the show. Oh, what the hell now? How the hell that happened? Jesus. All right. So anyway, Joe Biden thinks that's just part of the process. Well, I bet you the second that anyone harasses any Democrat over a bill. I think, you know what? Perhaps Republican activists should go after every Democratic senator saying that your bill is going to put us in a poorhouse and we're all going to be wearing socks with holes in them and dirty underwear after you pass this bill because nobody can afford to even run their water. Do you think that would work? Do you think that's part of the process? It's the Maxine Waters version of how America should run. You go into restaurants, if you see them in a convenience store and you see them in a shopping mall, you go and tell them they don't belong here. They don't do this, that. You should go harass them. Is this the new normal? Is this going to be the new normal? I don't know. Now, here's an interesting thing, too. In that same press conference, before I go on and go back to tell you a little about this group, here's something else Joe Biden said during this that was interesting. This is
no surprise. I'd like to talk about what we need today to raise the debt limit. And why the Republicans in Congress, what they're doing today is so reckless and dangerous, in my view. Raising the debt limit comes down to paying what we already owe.
Is it?
What has already been acquired.
Is it now? Listen to what he says here.
Not anything new. It starts with a simple truth.
Hey, Richo, let me just stop here for a second. PDawgKnight, you need to fire the video guy. LOL. Really? Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, I probably should. Let's Go Brandon shirts for everyone. Should I make some Let's Go Brandon shirts? Maybe that would sell. Let's try it out. The whole deal pissed me off. Biggest moment in Brandon Brown's life, and you have to turn it into something about President Bad Touch. Yeah, it was unfortunate, but also the fact that the announcer even needed to announce it. I don't think the announcer should have said anything. The announcer should have just ignored it. Okay. And it turned into something else. Yeah. So, but it is unfortunate. It's like when, what's the girl from Japan when she won the US Open, she beat Serena Williams, and then Serena Williams pouting was the big story and not the girl who won. That was not cool. But anyway, listen to this bullshit.
The United States is a nation that pays its bills and always has from its inception. We have never defaulted.
Okay, and?
What we pay for, so it keeps us a great nation. Social Security benefits for seniors, salaries for brave service members, and benefits for veterans, and other financial obligations
is he reading
for our people and for our nation. We're able to meet these obligations based on the revenue we receive from taxes and based on our ability to borrow when needed.
When needed? Wait a minute. When needed? What do you mean when needed? We've been borrowing constantly for the last 50 years. What the hell are you talking about? Anyway.
And in that case, we're able to borrow because we always pay our debt. We always paid what we owe. We've never failed. That's America. That's who we are. That's what it's called for. It's called full faith and credit of the United States. It's rock solid.
Okay.
It's the best in the world.
Okay, and?
Here's the deal. There's a cap on what we can borrow called the debt limit.
Okay.
And only Congress can raise or lower that debt limit. So let me be really clear. This is really important to know.
Let's see what's important.
Raising the debt limit is about paying off our old debts.
That is a lie. Flat out lie.
Nothing to do with any new spending.
That is a lie.
It has nothing to do with my plan for infrastructure.
That is a lie.
Or building back better. Zero.
That is a lie.
Zero. Both of which I might add.
That is a lie.
So if we're going to make good on what's already been approved by previous Congresses and previous presidents and parties, we have to pay for it. Social Security benefits. American people are promised. Salaries for servicemen and women. Benefits for veterans.
Lie.
We're going to have to raise the debt limit if we're going to meet those obligations.
So he's just flat out lying to you. No, you raise the debt limit so you can spend more. You raise because look, if you stopped everything, all those things that he talked about, salaries, Social Security, whatever, that's can be paid out of taxes if you don't raise the debt limit. You'd have to curb spending dramatically, but on discretionary spending. The service of the debt, the Social Security, all the things that you have to pay for that are obligations, those are the things that would have to be paid. And the idea that his proposed new $3.5 trillion in additional spending would not be coming from the debt limit, are you out of your mind, Joe? You are you're so full of shit. You're so full of shit. Anyway, that was not really the point. I want to talk about these groups that are chasing Kyrsten Sinema around. Because here's a couple shockers for you. And I guarantee you this is a shocker, okay? First of all, the group that's chasing her around, what's it called? They're called, well, there's a couple groups here. The groups that are harassing Kyrsten Sinema. Turns out that the leftists who harassed moderate Senator Kyrsten Sinema in a public restroom over the weekend are not only funded by, guess, George Soros. You know, you're not allowed to say that on YouTube. So, but anyway, by the guy, you know, the guy who, you know, who we're talking about, the billionaire guy who's in a lot of Democrats' pockets or supporting a lot of things. Anyway, but they're also supported by a group connected to several of Sinema's U.S. Senate colleagues, including at least one vulnerable Democrat up for re-election next year. Outrage erupted across the internet on Sunday when a viral video revealed that several left-wing activists associated with the group Living United for Change in Arizona, Lucha, stalked Sinema in a bathroom where she teaches at Arizona State University, while demanding that she support President Joe Biden's Build Back Better agenda. According to the Washington Free Beacon, Lucha received over $1.5 million from that guy, his nonprofit Open Society Foundation in 2019 and $250,000 in 2017. Now, granted, those aren't recent. The group also reported around $1.7 million in revenue in 2019 and $328,000 in 2000. So basically, he's funding the entire group, okay, because that's his revenue. Beyond Soros funding, though, Lucha has received financial support from a political action committee connected to several Democrat U.S. senators, including Senators Bob Menendez, Catherine Cortez Masto, per the Beacon. Bold PAC, the fundraising arm of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, gave $12,500 to Living United on August 4th, according to Federal Election Commission records. The committee includes more than 36 of Sinema's Democratic colleagues in the Senate and House. Senators Cortez Masto, Alex Padilla, Robert Menendez are listed as members of the committee on the Bold PAC website. The senators did not respond to requests for comment about Living United's confrontation of their Democratic colleague. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg's pro-immigration charity FWD gave $7,500 to Living United last year. The Ford Foundation's starting to show up in a lot of shit. Also gave the organization a $500,000 grant in 2018. The National Education Association, the largest teachers union in the country, contributed $60,000 to Living United both in 2017 and 2019. None of Living United's donors responded to requests for comment. So they're getting funding from the usual suspect, and they're going out and harassing a senator. I'm wondering why the other senators won't comment on that. In a similar article from the Federalist, just also an article just saying that the groups that harass Sinema are funded by you know who, that guy. Rhymes with Borge Goros. Anyway, if you want to read those articles, they'll be in the tabs. Let's move on a little bit here. Also from the American Thinker here this morning. Let me go here, move this over so you can follow along. So let's talk about the infrastructure bill, because this is now it's funny because now people here, they say $4.5 trillion Oh, I see. If you add them together, 4.5 trillion infrastructure reconciliation bills are far more radical and dangerous than you think. By pure chance, I listened to Science Friday on National Public Radio while on a Florida road trip last September 24th. This is the writer saying this, Seth Grossman. I heard host Ira Flatow interview New York Times climate reporter Coral Davenport. The transcript posted online. In fact, I'll put that transcript in the tab here. Hang on. We'll just put that out there too. Real quick, thank you, Black Keepers Your Light, sponsored the show one more time. Did you see they chanted "fuck Joe Biden" at the Jets game? No wonder why they won their first game.
That's right.
Thank you, Black Keepers Your Light, for your continued sponsorship of the show. You are a gentleman and a scholar. Until then, I thought that the bipartisan $1 trillion infrastructure and the progressives, Democrats' $3.5 trillion reconciliation packages were just obscenely bloated versions of previous stimulus spending we had with Obama and Trump. Now I know that both bills are now I know that both bills are far more radical and dangerous. They are sponsored by people who hate America's large, prosperous, and politically independent middle class. These woke Democrats are determined to break us. The premise of both bills is that by enjoying safe and comfortable lifestyles, we are causing floods, fires, droughts that are ruining the planet. They say this is because we are burning too much fossil fuel. The goal of both bills is to cut America's fossil fuel use in half during the next 9 years. You know what's funny about that? They keep trying to push all the electric cars and this and that. But your electric car is powered by coal. Just saying. And they refuse to go nuclear. And so I don't know. I think they should do it like in is it Thailand or I want to say Thailand. No, Singapore. Singapore, all their garbage in Singapore is burned in these plants that have I don't know if it's carbon recycled, but it recycles some of the smoke and whatever and purifies whatever. But they generate a lot of electricity that way, and I don't know why we don't do that here too. But right now, basically, if you're driving a what are they called? What are those stupid cars? Tesla. If you're driving a Tesla, your car is powered by coal. Thank you. By the way, good morning, Horrible Gamer and Simic Magic to the show. Glad you're here. So anyway, now I know that both, okay, the premise, oh, here we go. The goal of both bills is to cut American fossil fuel use in half during the next 9 years. If these bills become law, the federal government will heavily fine every power company that does not systematically shut down most of its coal, oil, and natural gas power plants by then. It would also pay billions as bribes to company to build and use new solar panels and wind turbines instead, which are, oh boy, oh boy. You think that you think we're killing the environment now? How many birds are going to die? How many bees are going to get killed? Especially these giant solar farms, you'd be surprised how many animals get killed by those. Anyway, the federal government will also pay people, businesses, and schools to buy electric cars, trucks, and buses. It would also pay for more solar panels. This would permanently end prosperity in America. Solar panels and wind turbines cannot power the modern economy. The electricity they generate is too weak, intermittent, unpredictable, and unreliable. Solar and wind energy is often wasted. It cannot be stored when not needed. It saves little, if any, fossil fuel. That is because backup generators must always be running to give the grid steady power when the wind stops, night falls, or clouds go by. Nuclear power plants are a reliable, cost-effective alternative to fossil fuels. They provide 71% of the electricity in France. Of course, neither bill promotes new nuclear power plants because I don't get it. They just refuse to look at nuclear. And I don't know. France is, as much as I hate to say it, France is a good model for nuclear power. Hello, Lexi Mads. How you doing? Anyway, if both bills pass, power companies will be in an impossible situation. If they keep fossil fuel plants to provide reliable power, they will pay big fines and pass that cost on to their customers. Everything we buy will then cost more, because we're getting used to that scenario. If power companies comply and rely on unreliable solar panels and wind turbines, the frequent power failures will become normal, like California, even though they haven't even done that yet. People with electric cars, trucks, and buses will often find it difficult or impossible to charge them. You think the rolling blackouts in California and the that one grid fuck up in Texas, which they got taken care of, you think that was bad now? And when in California, I think by 2030 they're requiring nothing but electric cars to be sold in California. How's California going to keep those cars powered with constant rolling blackouts? Bet they haven't figured that out. Anyway, as in the days of railroads and steamships, every long trip will be difficult and uncertain. Yeah, imagine if I had to take that trip to Denver that I did a few weeks ago. I drove to Denver over 14 hours in a gas-powered truck, a gas-powered moving van that I drove for 14 hours with intermittent stops for peeing and eating. Okay? I could just stop, get gas, and keep on going, right? Now, imagine I'm trying to take that trip from Twin Cities to Denver in an electric vehicle. Now, granted, they say that this infrastructure bill is going to also build all these places where you can charge your car and blah, 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 blah. But they haven't really got a good way for charging one of those cars in a short period of time. Unlike gasoline, where I might take a 5-minute stop, fill the tank, go grab a Monster and some chips and some beef jerky, and I'm off to the races again. But if I have to charge a bunch of batteries, right? If I have to go charge a bunch of batteries, and it takes like for a truck that big, probably take 3 or 4 hours, right? That really fucks up my trip. Plus, the range. I don't know that they've made a vehicle that has a range of more than. Are there any electric cars that have a range of more than 300 miles yet? Or 200 miles, 250 miles? And what happens? I don't know if any of you have an electric car. What happens so you take this electric car and you got a range of 250 miles and you're getting down to you're at about the 230 mile mark and you're trying to drive somewhere. How long does it take to, what happens? How do you know that because you know how sometimes you got a flashlight and you think the battery's going to last a little longer and all of a sudden just the flashlight just stops, right? And you're like, oh shit, now I got to, what do you do? At least if someone comes to you, if you run out of gas in a car, right? You get a ride to the gas station, you get a 1 gallon tank of gas, you put it in your thing, and then you drive to the gas station, fill up your tank. What happens if your electric car goes out in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever driven through there are places in Colorado, right? Or in a lot of the West, especially. There are places where you might not have another rest stop or another place to get gas or something for another 50 miles. Is someone going to be driving around with portable chargers? Kind of like I have portable chargers for my phone that I can take around. I don't think so. Anyway. Real quick. Thank you, Maddie, for sponsoring the show. Appreciate you. Who says they're not going to figure it out until the chemical barrels start piling up. The rolling brownouts happen more frequently and people can't afford their light bills. They are clueless. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Maddie, for sponsoring the show through Streamlabs and SuperChats and whatever I got down there. Hang on a second. I got to sneeze. Okay, I'm better now. It's nonsense. Good morning, Jaeger Pony. How you doing? Good morning, Cracked. Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadians in the house, and Cracked is in the house. Looking at California for the mid-'80s, rolling blackouts over multiple seasons in areas where air conditioning is needed. Yeah, isn't that the truth? California's going to be a mess. In 2030, when they decided that they're not eliminating gas-powered cars, but you will no longer be able to sell gas-powered cars in California, according to the laws that they're making now after 2030. Thank you, Gunfox61. Oh, yes, this too. Thank you. This is a good one, Gunfox. Thank you for sponsoring the show one more time, and appreciate that. Breaking news, China is running out of power. Francis Collins stepping down as the head of the National Institute of Health over funding to China ahead of investigation. Oh, my. Yeah, China is having problems even generating power. Yeah, anyway, thank you, Gunfox. And Collins is stepping down. I wonder when's Fauci going to step down? When is Fauci going to be fired? That fucking piece of shit Terranome. All right, let me finish this up here. Americans will have to walk or ride horses or bicycles in the heat, in the cold, in the rain. Homeschools and business will again be cold in the winter and hot in the summer. Comfortable middle class Americans will be gone. Well, yeah, that's the doomsday kind of scenario. I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, Germany and Denmark have already invested heavily in solar panels and wind turbines. They have the highest electric rates in Europe. Go figure. They avoided disaster only by buying expensive nuclear electricity from France and natural gas from Russia. Yet in spite of this, progressive Democrats have good reasons to think they will get the support and the votes they need to pass these bills. Their union teachers and professors made the last 3 generations of students virtually illiterate in basic science. Few Americans today know that climate change to create an ice age 10,000 years climate change to create an ice age 10,000 years ago, and the earth has warmed ever since. Yeah, that's the other t-shirt. Global warming ever since the ice age. I got to start putting some merch out. I have great ideas. I just haven't done it. Anyway, yeah, the earth's been warming ever since. They know nothing about how we convert the energy of spinning wheels or sunlight into electricity. They never had science fairs. They never did experiments to see how many solar panels and wind turbines it takes to power a microwave or washing machine. They know nothing of reputable scientists like Michael Schellenberger, the author of Apocalypse Never. Schellenberger makes a persuasive case that man-made climate change is slight and manageable, and that climate alarmists do more harm than good. Yeah, I disagree with that. Democrats carefully designed both massive spending packages to bribe every interest group they need to get elected and re-elected next year. Their combined $4.5 trillion spending plan includes $18 billion for homeowners, $13.5 billion for vehicle charging stations, $5 billion for free electric fire trucks and school buses. Free. $27.5 billion for green energy loans that don't get paid back. Remember Solyndra? Remember that debacle? Remember y'all remember Solyndra? I remember Solyndra. God, talk about it. They keep joking about this being Obama's third term, but my God, this is his third term on steroids. I think do y'all think Obama's the puppet master here? Or that, because they got all his advisors in there. Obama, maybe Valerie Jarrett. By the way, Gunfox, you are still the superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, sir. I think Obama's the puppet master. Anyway, the evilest spending is roughly $6 billion paid to schools, colleges, and community organizers for climate justice programs. These are pure propaganda campaigns to promote their fake science and to elect Democrats who support this radical agenda. Finally, Democrats know that their allies in the media will scare voters into supporting the program. Hey, who cares if the media scares them into it? Because we have the government that can now tell you where and when you can walk and when you can come outside and what you have to wear and what you have to put in your body, when you have to stop and when you have to go. And they're just, the government can do whatever they want now. They can tell you where you can live and what kind of car you can buy. I hope they let me keep my truck because I use it a lot for a lot of shit. Anyway, every day they will falsely report that every hurricane, tornado, heavy rain, drought, and brush fire in America is caused by climate change. They will falsely blame anyone who opposes these spending packages as being responsible for every death and loss, like they're doing with the stupid 19. Will conservative Americans wake up and fight back in time to stop this? I wish I could do my X to doubt. I keep forgetting to fix that, but probably not. Anyway, that's a great article in the Thinker today, and it's like, what's that? Let's see, what does it say down here? What are they talking about here? Just like they blame every COVID death on the unvaccinated. it's funny. There's a lot of people who are getting COVID that are fully vaccinated. Some of them even died. Not hearing a whole lot about those people, are you? But boy, I tell you what, every time some news talk person or someone that said they didn't want to be vaxxed dies, you hear there's a front page story about them with a sad look on their face and people making fun of them because, Schadenfreude, fuck you. Well, I guess they're going to have to tell the truth later. Anyway, if you want to know what's in these climate change bills, I did put a link to the article they referenced in that last article. It'll be in the tabs. It's called Congress Considering 2 Climate Change Bills. What's in them? And you can it's the transcript from this show. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, here you go. I think you can read it. Yeah, there's the transcript there. So I'll have that link in the description down below. All right, let's move on. So more about this bill. Biden's reduced spending bill is far too much. This is the New York Post editorial board. After insisting he can't support more than $1.5 trillion in new social spending, Joe Manchin asked his Democratic colleagues how much is enough. But Manchin's, or anyway, but he should be asking himself the same question. Now, again, I'm fascinated by this whole infrastructure bill bullshit, because we've already paid for infrastructure on a very regular basis. Again, I said this yesterday, where if you've ever driven around the country, the federal roads, the federal infrastructure items, roads, bridges, every summer, construction on the freeways. You can never get away from it. Okay. There's always construction on the freeways. That's the federal spending. So what is this extra 1.5 trillion or whatever it is they're coming up with for? Well, it's for more of the other bullshit that they're coming up with. Being against climate change is racist. Why don't you want black people in Atlanta to own beachfront property? That is a great way to grow wealth after all. Oh, hell yes, Advocatus Diabli. Okay, so even if paid for, 1.5 trillion is still too much. After the 1.9 trillion in COVID relief spending the Democrats rammed through in March for a total of over 5.4 trillion in added outlays since the pandemic hit, not to mention the 1.1 trillion infrastructure plan that's still waiting in the wings. Oh, and will he go along with the bogus savings to get the bill down by pretending new benefits will expire after just a few years? No, you know this shit never ends what they start spending. Plus the pay for to go with the 1.5 trillion proposal would still require hefty job-killing tax hikes that hurt the poor and middle class the most, slamming the economy and cutting wages. That's why Manchin himself this summer was calling to hit pause on the entire effort to ram through all or part of the Bernie Sanders agenda this year. Stick to your guns, Senator. Yeah, please stick to your guns. Also in the New York Post, this is a pretty funny article. Joe Biden is proving he's pretty inept at politics. Is this live or is this how long is this video? Hang on. Let's just
I've been able to close a deal on 99% of my party. Two people. That's still underway. I don't think there's been a president who's been able to close deals that's been in a position where he has only 50 votes in the Senate and a bare majority in the House.
Really?
It's a process. To
Ah.
get it done.
It sounds like you're putting the blame squarely on 2 U.S. senators for your inability to close that deal, Senator Sinema and Senator Manchin. Am I incorrect? Is that who the blame lies with?
Look, I need 50 votes in the Senate. I have 48.
And you don't have 52. So it's not just, you can't just blame it on 2 senators. Hello, there's 50 other senators besides those 2 who are voting against your bullshit. So sorry. Whatever's left of the Joe Biden competence myth just crumbled away Monday when the president gave a desperate speech trying to make Republicans help him. This is the master of Senate negotiation? The guy who said he could reach across the aisle? Watching President Biden and his team try their hand at politics over the past 2 weeks, it's hard not to be reminded of the Mets manager Casey Stengel. Can't anybody here play this game? Congress must raise the debt limit by October 18th. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell rightly notes that Democrats can raise the limit by themselves using reconciliation. Biden, who doesn't mind using reconciliation for all other kinds of massive spending bills, doesn't want to do this. Why? Because then Republicans could go into the midterms saying Democrats raise the debt limit by $1 gajillion. Yes. They are not the party of fiscal responsibility. They're certainly not. Good morning, Sean King. Good morning, Lord Stanhope. Biden argues that we're reaching the debt limit because of money already spent in bills voted on by both Democrats and Republicans. Fair enough, but the Republicans are taking this stand to point out that the Democrats want to spend trillions more this year. And besides that, it's politics. This is what politicians do, which is exactly why Biden himself voted against the debt ceiling increases 3 times when he was in the Senate. Smart politicians use carrots and sticks to get what they want. Then there's Joe Biden, whose incentive to Republicans is nothing. The threat is nothing. Certainly Biden's signature speaking style of coughing and creepy whispers won't sway anybody. Oh, that's cold. Anyway, he's asking the opposition party not to make him look bad while he gets everything he wants. Why would anyone do that? Republicans have the upper hand here, which is why even swing senators like Mitt Romney and Susan Collins aren't budging. As McConnell said, they want to make policy all by themselves so they can come up with the financing on their own as well. President Biden caved to progressives on the infrastructure bill and will soon cave to the Republicans on the debt ceiling. So much for a brilliant negotiator. Who are these young ladies? Anyway, don't care. All right, moving on. Let's get into some Fauci news. Everyone's favorite terror gnome, Dr. Anthony Fauci. So he's mad because someone took a Christmas comment out of context. He was encouraging people to have a normal Christmas. Aw, how sweet. Well, let's read what it says.
I also said something over the weekend that was taken completely out of context. I was asked, what could we predict for this winter, for like December and Christmas?
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, I mean, I say you hold off on that. I said, we don't know because we've seen slopes that went down and then came back up. The best way to assure that we'll be in good shape as we get into the winter would be to get more and more people vaccinated. That was misinterpreted as my saying we can't spend Christmas with our families, which was absolutely not the case.
Okay.
I will be spending Christmas with my family. I encourage people.
Oh, you did last year anyway, though. And look, if people took him out of context on that, I think it's fair that he objects to that. But he sure didn't sound like that when he said it. He was saying, oh, well, we don't know. We just never know. We just have to see what's happening in the fall, whatever, But anyway,
particularly the vaccinated people who are protected to have...
Protected from what, though? What are they protected from? How exactly are they protected if they're getting it too? Good morning, 3-4 Shiota. I mean, they kind of are. No more than I am. As a survivor. I'm a survivor. I don't know.
Good, normal Christmas with your family, but just the way all of the other disinformation goes around.
It's funny. He still can't seem to answer the question about the immunity from people who have already had it. There have been a couple of reporters who have asked him on that. Anyway, so he was... he's a little in a tiff about that. So anyway, moving on. Apparently, this is a gem. If you have heard of this, if you live in Louisiana, you might have heard this. But apparently, there's a Louisiana hospital that is fining employees for having unvaccinated spouses. You heard that right. Employees of Louisiana's largest hospital system could lose more than 5% of their annual paychecks to totalitarian vaccine mandates, even if they themselves are vaccinated. After implementing a vaccine mandate for all registered employees, Louisiana healthcare system Ochsner Health will fine its nearly 32,000 employees $100 per pay period for having an unvaccinated spouse listed on their insurance. Here's the tweet. In Louisiana, Ochsner Health is mandating vaccines for spouses of employees. If your spouse is on your insurance and does not get the jab, they will be imposing a $100 per pay period fee. What started as a $100 incentive to get the jab has now turned into a recurring tax. In August, they announced the COVID-19 mandate for registered physicians, providers, and employees to be vaccinated by October 29th or lose their jobs. Now the hospital is increasing pressure to get the stupid 19 jab. The latest requirement, which goes into effect in 2022, will hike premiums for unvaccinated spouses. As of now, dependent children covered by the medical plan will not face a fine for being unstabbed. The reality is the cost of treating stupid 19, particularly for patients requiring intensive inpatient care, is expensive, and we spend more than $9 million on stupid 19 care for those who are covered on our health plans over the last year. Ochsner President and CEO warned. You know what though? It's like, are you kidding me? Wouldn't you? So are they gonna, if the people who've gotten the jab get stupid 19 and end up in the hospital, are they going to have to pay more? What are you talking about? It's like, oh, this is unbelievable. I don't even know if that's, you got to wonder if that's, it must be legal somehow, but I don't get it. I just don't get it. In what Ochsner calls the spousal stupid vaccine fee, the health system will add an insurance surcharge of $100 for employees with unvaccinated spouses who are covered under the system's insurance plan. The fee could deduct as much as $2,400 yearly from an employee's paycheck. Ochsner's average yearly salary is about $43,000 per year, meaning employees could forfeit more than 5% of their annual paycheck if their spouse is unvaccinated. Holy shit, this is getting out of hand. It is really getting out of hand. It's crazy. You know, especially since the fact that 99% don't go on ventilators, don't go on the hospital. They just, God bless America. It's unreal. It's unreal. Moving on. Apparently now one of New York's most senior judges has been barred from the courthouse over the stupid 19 vagine. One of the state's most senior judges has refused to get stabbed or seek medical exemption and can no longer enter the courthouse, the Post has learned. Associate Court of Appeals Judge Jenny Rivera is the only state jurist out of a total of approximately 1,300 who declined the jab and failed to apply for a medical or religious waiver. Columbia University School of Law graduate was barred from entering any court facilities, including her chambers, beginning September 27th at 5 p.m. when the state Unified Court System vaccine mandate went into effect for all staffers. Currently, there is only one state paid judge statewide out of compliance with our vaccine mandate policies, said United Court System spokesman Lucien Chalfin. Rivera is one of 7 judges on the Court of Appeals, headed by Chief Judge Janet D. Fiore. The panel meets in person about once a month to hear oral arguments in an Albany courthouse. For the first time this Tuesday, Rivera will be the sole jurist to tune into the session via video since the court resumed in-person sessions in March. So she's going to be able to work from home, I guess. I'm surprised they haven't banned her from being a judge. It works for her, and she can participate remotely. I don't see the problem, said State Court of Appeals spokesman Gary Spencer, who declined to comment on her vaccination status. We do not discuss the personal health information of anyone, judges or staff. Well, they haven't let her in the damn courthouse, so, I guess you could just incur, whatever, what I'm trying to say there. The courtroom's configuration was changed for the most recent session in August due to Rivera's decision not to get the stab, a source told the Post. She was placed alone at the end of the wooden table separated from 6 vax judges who were perched on a raised bench behind her. I mean, this is insanity. The jab is supposed to protect the people who have gotten the jab, so 6 judges have the jab. Isn't it supposed to protect them? How is she going to hurt them even if she is near them? This is insanity. This is just, I mean, this is the worst moral panic I've ever seen. It's insanity. Anyway, now I don't know if this is good news in New Zealand or not, but they've announced end to zero COVID strategy because they were trying to say they wanted no stupid 19 in New Zealand. Well, they figured out that shit ain't working. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said on Monday that the country would no longer be able to entirely rid itself of stupid 19. Welcome to the party, dear. And since, the problem is, it'd be great if you could remove it from humans, but if they're finding it in animals everywhere, I think the animals still breathe, especially in New Zealand. There's lots of sheep down there. I bet a lot of the sheep have COVID, and you probably don't even know it. And they're breathing all over you when, never mind, I'm not going to go to that joke. That's a bad joke. And I like my New Zealanders. You tweeted what to me? Did you get the article here? Do the article here already? I don't know. I have to figure it out. Oh, okay. In the Supreme Court understands this. They are just running out the clock, hoping people won't resist. It's a game of chicken. Discrimination against Latinas. Yeah, that's discrimination against Latinas. Anyway. Also reported by the Associated Press, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern announced a cautious plan to ease lockdown restrictions in Auckland. Oh, about time, despite an outbreak there that continues to simmer. Since early in the pandemic, New Zealand has pursued an unusual zero-tolerance approach to the virus through strict lockdowns and aggressive contact tracing. With this outbreak and Delta, the return to zero is incredibly difficult, Ardern reportedly told a press conference. This is a change in approach we were always going to make over time. Our Delta outbreak has accelerated this transition. Vaccines will support it. She said it's clear that a long period of heavy restrictions has not gotten us 0 cases. Well, finally figured that out. I think Sweden figured that out early long, and they're doing pretty good. Oh, get off my screen, Candace Owens. Yes. Thank you, Somnambule Nation, for reminding me of that. Yes, it is endemic. It's clear that a long period of heavy restrictions has not got us 0 cases, but it's okay. The elimination was important because we didn't have vaccinations. Now we do, so we can begin to change the way we do things. No, it had nothing to do with the vaccinations. It didn't work. It did not work. So there. Ardern discussed how the Auckland lockdown will be cut down in steps. As reported by the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Auckland residents will be able to leave their homes to connect with loved ones outdoors from Wednesday with a limit of 10 people. Well, isn't that special? Oh, we can finally go see our loved ones. Early childhood education will also return, but retail and hospitality outlets and offices will remain shut. The Associated Press reported. Auckland, okay, that's right there. Anyway, so they're going to finally start easing up a little bit, but not, they're still really locked down in New Zealand. I'm sorry. As reported by the Daily Wire in August, Ardern authorized a nationwide lockdown after a single case of stupid 19 was confirmed in Auckland, telling citizens to shun neighbors and keep to their bubble. A 50-year-old man tested positive for the virus, triggered week-long lockdowns in Auckland, where he resides, and Coromandel, a coastal town he had recently visited. The infection also triggered a 3-day lockdown for the entire nation. Oh my God, for a single case. Because how many people in New Zealand? About 5 million? Or is it even that much? The entire island is 5 million people. They locked down the entire island for 1 case. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
For sponsoring the show one more time, who says, did you see the Project Veritas video of Pfizer scientists admitting that natural immunity is far better than the jab?
That's right.
one scientist said that Pfizer's still an evil company.
That's right.
Well, I haven't seen that, but I probably will look for it now. Not a shocker. I think we're finding more and more studies. There's the study in Israel. There's several studies across the United States. It's funny because I was having this discussion with my lovely bride, Lady Boomer, and and she's very pro vaccines, but we talk about it. We listen, and I list a lot of stuff that she says too, and she agrees too that natural immunity probably does make sense, but her company, when they were saying that they were requiring everyone to be jabbed, they put like one of the very few studies that said that natural immunity might last a short amount of time, and now we're finding all these other studies. I mean, I think the study in Israel was probably the biggest one, because it was like 25,000 people that were in the study, but and a lot of their restrictions, when you say you either need to be vaccinated or you've had the virus, because they know that the natural immunity gives you the antibodies. But almost every study says that the natural immunity lasts the longest. But there are a few pick and choose studies that don't say that. And so those are the ones her company used. When there's a huge study at Mayo Clinic that also says that natural immunity probably lasts. There's a huge study at the University of Washington, St. Louis. Natural immunity, probably the best. Big study in Israel. Natural immunity, probably the best. Several countries have studies that natural immunity from people who've had a mild or moderate case of the stupid 19 is more effective than the jab. And now, so I haven't seen the one with Pfizer. I'm going to look that up now, though. I'm going to check that out. All right, so enough about New Zealand. A little more. Let's talk about the Afghan debacle. Apparently, GOP lawmakers said that there's they're probing reports of unvetted Afghans departing from U.S. military bases. A lot of these people that are bringing over have not been vetted. So a group of senators is demanding answers from the Biden administration following reports that hundreds of Afghan evacuees are leaving U.S. military bases for the bases, not from Afghanistan, before being fully vetted. Joni Ernst and 15 other Republicans signed a letter to Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas and Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin on Monday, questioning the Biden officials over the administration's current procedures for holding and vetting thousands of Afghans flown out of Afghanistan in August. Because we've been having a little problem with some of these bases with a few, things that are maybe customary where you came from, but not customary here, touching women when they don't want to, etc. Today, as many as 65,000 Afghan evacuees flown out of Afghanistan under the president's orders now reside across 8 military bases in the United States, the senators wrote. The Biden administration's security vetting procedures to clear Afghans entering the country remain unclear and incomplete, and unless changed, are insufficient to preserve the safety of the American homeland. Because they might have also accidentally snuck a few terrorists from Afghanistan over here. The vetting process is just not that great. Hello, Gen T. How you doing? Oh my gosh. Anyway, the letter comes after a weekend report claiming that hundreds of Afghan refugees were departing from military bases in the United States without first being fully vetted and cleared. As many as 700 and possibly more unvetted Afghans have left U.S. military facilities. The Department of Homeland Security said that many of the departing Afghans are U.S. citizens already or had special immigrant visas. But Reuters reports in a statement, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security spokesman declined to comment on the figures provided to Reuters by sources, but said people who had left bases generally had ties to the United States. Well, generally? What the hell does that mean? Generally? Yeah, sort of, kind of, maybe? Possibly? Anyway, like family members and friends and resources to support themselves. The spokesman said that in addition, at the outset of the operation, many of those evacuated were U.S. citizens, permanent residents, or had approved special immigrant visas, so were able to depart quickly. Fine, what about the rest of them? It didn't say all of them. It said some of them. Good God. Anyway, The lawmakers requested the Biden administration pause the relocation and settlement of more Afghan refugees until the vetting and screening process can be reviewed and verified. The senators added that in cases where the refugee had an SIV, they could be released. What is that called? SIVs. I can't remember what those are. Special immigrant visas. Anyway, they need to vet every single person coming in and out. They got to make sure. All right, let's keep going. Also, horrendous U.S. general allegedly abandoned allies in Afghan for souvenirs. This is not a good story. This is not a story that's going to make you happy. Apparently, one of the iconic images of our catastrophic surrender from Afghanistan was a night vision photograph of Major General Christopher Donahue, the last American service member to depart the war-torn nation, boarding C-17 Globemaster. Real quick. Thank you, Maddie. Sponsored the show again. Appreciate you. Who says, excuse me, sir, they are not terrorists. They are immigrants with explosive tendencies or explosive entrepreneurs. Oh, Maddie. I'm going to read that so you can understand it because I got to laughing at the end. She says, excuse me, sir. They are not terrorists. They are immigrants with explosive tendencies or explosive entrepreneurs. Yes, they are, Maddie. Thank you so much. Anyway, so the iconic last American to leave Afghanistan was Major General Christopher Donahue, commander of our All-American Division, board the C-17 Globemaster 3 at the Hamid Karzai International Airport in Kabul, Afghanistan. Major General Donahue is the final American paratrooper to depart Afghanistan. Yes, an iconic photo of the Major General doing this. By the way, thank you, GunFox61. Sponsors the show again, and you are still the Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day. What the hell happened there? I'll say if the goat lovers do any crimes to any U.S. personnel, get the lead pill. No questions asked. Plus one random guy that acts up in front of the group gets a lead pill to the head to hammer home the point. If they failed the vetting, lead pill. I'm a Frito Bandito. Okay, yeah. Disavow. I think. Well, if they do anything like those guys that took the woman service person and did their thing, they should be. I have no problem transporting them back to Afghanistan by boat, and if they get lost at sea, it happens. Anyway, mainstream media portrayed him kindly, like any brave U.S. soldier who fought and bled in Afghanistan for nearly 2 decades. That would be this major. Our friend Jennifer Van Laar at Red State exclusively reported Sunday, however, that the 1992, here I'm going to open that one for you too, even though we're not going to go through it, that the 1992 West Point graduate aired badly in late August. Donahue allegedly booted 50 to 100 American allies off the cargo plane so he could load a Taliban souvenir, an inoperable Taliban-owned Toyota Hilux with a fully operational Russian Zu-23 anti-aircraft autocannon mounted in the bed to bring home. Not only did this violate standing orders against taking so-called war trophies, but those left behind have been or likely will be killed by the Taliban due to Donahue's actions. According to Red State's informants, during the last hours of the evacuation, according to troops under his command, and as documented by photographs and witness statements, Donahue ordered all the passengers aboard the C-17 transport plane to disembark so he could have a souvenir loaded onto the plane. Once the Helix was loaded, passengers were allowed back on the plane, but of course there wasn't room for all of them. Red State also maintains that multiple sources claim Donahue's contact with the Taliban was not limited to simply bidding them adieu. They say the 2-star general provided the Taliban with a full manifest of passengers aboard the flights, including passport information, photos, and biometric information for those passengers. The flights included U.S. troops, Afghans, U.S. troops, Afghans who were employed by the Department of Defense, key human intelligence, called HUMINT assets, and other SIV applicants and their families. This is similar to the kill list many media outlets reported on during late August. As the new month opens, Afghanistan continues to present a horrendous situation on several fronts, while Americans become indifferent, especially since most media won't cover the continued tragedies. PJ Media will continue to track these developing stories. Holy shit, why isn't this guy in a fucking court-martial right now? Somebody's gonna find in the next 30 days. I better hear this guy's under fucking court-martial. Talk about it. F this guy. Matt, you can just use a username if you want. Okay. Anyway, holy shit. I can't fucking believe it. Oh, I'm really curious. Send me a telegram. Playing video on their phone and uploaded. Okay, I gotta figure out what you're talking about here now. All right, I'll figure that out later. Anyway, talk about an FTG. This guy should be in jail. Holy shit. Those are not war trophies. Those are his 5 wives. Nah, no. This guy needs to go to jail. So anyway, the article from Red State here, talking about this guy, and in the next 30 days, he better frickin' be under court-martial. Moving on, the Taliban. Oh, now in Afghanistan, apparently the Taliban has stopped paying electricity providers, so Kabul is now facing blackouts. Hey, it's just like California. The Taliban has stopped paying foreign electricity providers, leaving Kabul, Afghanistan, on the verge of a blackout. Afghanistan gets most of its electricity from Central Asian suppliers, according to the Wall Street Journal. But the Taliban, which is now in charge of the Afghan government, has stalled on paying electricity providers and on collecting money from the service for the service from customers, threatening to plunge the country back into the, quote, dark ages. Anyway, the consequence would be countrywide, but especially in Kabul, there will be blackout, and it will bring Afghanistan back to the dark ages when it comes to power and telecommunications. One of the few remaining employees of Afghanistan's state-run electricity company, Da Afghanistan, Brezhna Shirkat, told the Wall Street Journal, this will be a really dangerous situation. Many of DAB's employees have resigned, including its chief executive, after the Taliban took control. The government and many of its services are at a standstill, the Wall Street Journal notes, as the Taliban handles more pressing priorities like reinstitution of corporal punishment for various crimes. A Taliban cleric is now in charge of DAB. So you know what? There's got to be a point in time when the people of Afghanistan give the big FU to the Taliban if they keep this nonsense up. There's going to be a nasty civil war in Afghanistan. I got to tell you. Besides the fact that the Taliban is also fighting with ISIS, you know, they're having trouble in parts of Afghanistan where ISIS is fighting them, and they're fighting with them. This shit show, let them live in the dark ages. It's just going to be awful there. I just hope that I hope we get the rest of our people out before it completely devolves, which it kind of pretty much already has, but still. Let's see. Oh, waves of illegal immigrants are flooding across the U.S. southern border with no end in sight. I was talking about this earlier, that there are coming in droves, and this is just an article in Front Page. The Biden administration is aiding and abetting a wholesale invasion of the United States by illegal immigrants with no idea of whether they are infected with stupid 19 or not. The waves of illegal immigrants encouraged by President Biden's open border policies keep coming with no end in sight. Last month, an estimated 20,000 Haitian immigrants entered the country illegally in successive groups that overwhelmed border agents. The Haitians huddled close together in squalid conditions under the international bridge in the border town of Del Rio. We all saw that. And they were not immediately tested or stabbed for the stupid 19. On top of that, more than 1 million U.S. Customs and Border Protection patrol encounters with illegal immigrants along the southwest border with Mexico from the time the Biden administration took office through August 2021. More than 1 million. The Biden administration claims that it's using its Congressional Health Emergency Authority under Title 42 to expel migrants entering the United States who have been recently in a country where stupid 19 and other communicable diseases were present. However, the administration has been using Title 42 far too sparingly in comparison with the Trump administration. Biden is clearly stepping very gingerly to make sure that he doesn't antagonize his left-wing progressive base. Last month, hordes of illegal Haitian immigrants are no longer camped under the international bridge. Some were deported, but a majority of these Haitians have remained in this country. Under the Biden administration's disastrous catch-and-release policy, thousands of them have been dispersed all over the U.S., and the administration didn't bother to test or vaccinate the illegal immigrants before they were released. Oh, but didn't Jen Psaki say we had a procedure for that? Oh, no. And here, Jen Psaki's bizarre explanation as to why the administration imposed no stupid 19 vaccination or testing requirements on the illegal Haitian immigrants, stated that the Haitians were not intending to stay here for a lengthy period of time. Yes, they were just hoping to visit Disneyland and maybe Six Flags over Mid-America and ride a couple roller coasters, and then they were going to go home. They just wanted to go to the amusement park. It's like, you know what? It's kind of like what was that movie with Chevy Chase? Something Vacation. Something Family Vacation. Anyway, that's all it was. It was just vacation. And they just wanted to go to Wally World and then maybe just drive their, family truckster / boat back to Haiti. I'm sure that's what's going to happen. But anyway, you can read the rest of it. It's a nightmare scenario, and we're just not doing anything about it. And National Lampoon's Vacation. Thank you, Somnambule Nation. Yes, that's what they're doing. They all just want to go to Wally World, and then they're going to go back home, Jen says. I don't know what the hell she meant there. But yeah, there's let's see. Yeah, and they're coming with more than just stupid 19. There was a big cholera break in Haiti before, and there's all kinds. It's not just the Haitians. We're getting immigrants from all over the world through the southern border. How is that happening? How are they not? Anyway, they're not vetting anybody. They don't care. Shut up, virus protection, whatever notification. I don't need to hear that right now. All right, let's. I'm almost through what I have open, so let's see what I can do here. Let's see how much maybe you just read the headlines. Here, we'll get at this. So there's this teacher, who says, I'm a middle school teacher facing retaliation after blowing the whistle on critical race curriculum. After going public about the radicalized and racialized curriculum changes that have increased racial tensions and distorted education, I've been the subject of escalating retaliation, some of which is racially tinged from colleagues and administration. This is a teacher named Ramona Bessinger who wrote this in Legal Insurrection. In Providence, Rhode Island, she writes, I'm a Providence, Rhode Island public middle school teacher with 22 years experience teaching English at the high school and middle school levels. After blowing the whistle on radicalized and racialized curriculum changes that have increased racial tensions and distorted education, I've been the subject of escalating retaliation, some of which is racially tinged from colleagues and administrators. Over the past year, I have seen a disturbing and frightening radicalization of the school curriculum in which race becomes the central focus, with heavy emphasis on oppressor-oppressed narratives. The result was increased racial tension in school, particularly directed at me as a white teacher, both from students and other teachers. I decided to blow the whistle on what was happening and did so in a column at Legal Insurrection on July 13, 2021. And I'll have that article linked also, where she just says, I'm a middle school teacher and see how a critical race curriculum is creating racial hostility in school. So that'll be also linked here. There's a copy of it. So in that blog post, I covered what I observed as happening in the school. Quote, I love being a teacher and I care a great deal about my students, almost all of whom are non-white. This past 2021 school year was a sad and worrisome turning point for me as an educator. Providence K-8 teachers were introduced to one of the most racially divisive, hateful, and in large part, historically inaccurate curriculums I have ever seen in my teaching career. Yes, I'm speaking about the controversial critical race theory that has infiltrated our public schools here in Rhode Island. under the umbrella of culturally responsive learning and teaching, which includes a focus on identities. You won't see the words critical race theory on the materials, but those are the concepts taught. The new radicalized curriculum and material focus almost exclusively on a oppressor-oppressed narrative and have created racial tensions among students and staff where none existed before. We did not need a new curriculum for students to learn about slavery and racism. We already did that in great depth, relying in part on the writings of great African-American authors. So she continues, I also detailed how vetted classic books by well-known authors, including many African-American authors, were removed from my classroom and replaced with propaganda-style pamphlets, and how this new curriculum has turned students and staff against me. Quote, I'm going to finish with this today. You can check the other articles in the tabs later. I asked a teacher leader what was going on, and he looked jokingly at me and saying, Comrade, we were told to remove all classroom sets of reading material in order to make room for incoming sets of books. I laughed, assuming this was a joke, but it was not a joke. This was real and happening in my school, in my classroom. Now, in isolation and without historical perspective, the thematic message of every book was clear. White Europeans were and are evil, and African Americans were and are victimized by white oppressors. Woven into this new curriculum was a school-wide social push to focus on Black Lives Matter support groups and other social justice identity groups. Teachers were encouraged to participate in white educator affinity groups, where we would be given essays on how not to be a white supremacist in the classroom. Finally, for some students, standing for the Pledge of Allegiance was no longer something they did. We are not allowed to question why, and the truth is, I knew why. Already, these young people were beginning to hate America. I was the only person standing, and the only person that could be heard saying liberty and justice for all. Midway through the academic year, some students were calling me America because I was white. These students, whom I love, were turning against me because of my skin color. I don't blame them. I blame the racial narratives being forced upon them in school. Several of my colleagues stated I had white privilege. I was quickly made to feel as though I was becoming the enemy. My black colleagues added more similar comments in passing. For example, you have white privilege, Bessinger. Your gestures are a rich person's gestures. Yes, I'm sure every school teacher is just filthy rich. Or maybe she's being paid more because she's white. I don't know. Anyway, the school culture for many was becoming increasingly tense. Children asked questions about the never-ending thematic focus on slavery. They asked me to tell them why I lived in a, quote, white castle, end quote. Where were my students hearing this? For sure, the new books and the new curriculum. So while disagreeing with critical race theory was being taught, while disagreeing that critical race theory is being taught, even the president of the Providence Teachers Union, an affiliate of the American Federation of Teachers, confirmed on local radio the use of teacher affinity groups and removal of great vetted books previously used. After my column in Legal Insurrection, I received widespread national and international media attention, including the Wall Street Journal, FoxNews.com, Fox News Television, ABC TV, Tamron Hall's show, as well as multiple radio appearances and digital articles, among many others. I even appeared on Australian television. After writing the initial blog post, I received a great deal of support from educators and parents all over the world, yet my administration and colleagues in Providence, for the most part, were radio silent. That is, until school started, and the silence turned to retaliation. The first sign of retaliation was evident, even before school restarted, when I received by 21-22 teaching, or my 21-22 teaching assignment, I was pulled from teaching one of my English classes and assigned to teach using CNN news sources, as well as Time for Kids, in a course structured to rely on racialized articles that separate children by the color of their skin. After a lengthy review of the biased articles, I could see the message was clear. Like the race-based paperbacks and comic-style books, articles in CNN News would be the same. Everything in school now is about race. During orientation, teacher professional development, including a privilege walk in which teachers were requested to talk about their own personal bias to share our personal trauma and to connect with children on their personal trauma. Much of the bias focus was on race. I declined to participate in the voluntary privilege walk, but observed it. We also were told to be surrogate parents to our students, giving lesson plans on Malcolm X, and the discussions around justifiable violence towards white people should be taught to children of color. Oh my God. On the first day of school, during professional development orientation, the week of August 30th, there was a verbal attack on me in front of other staff by one of my colleagues who shouted at me that I had white privilege. This colleague went on to say that she would teach her students Malcolm X's message to use violence as payback for crimes against slaves. That wasn't his ending message. Anyway, I asked her who the recipient of this Malcolm X style attack would be, and she said everyone who harmed slaves. Since all those people are now dead, clearly the intent was to intimidate me openly at work and send a message. During the week of September 13th, a student accused me of going on TV to remove black books from school. According to the student, another teacher told him this. Wow. The week of September 20th, my principal sent me multiple emails during the school day questioning me about my social media post. He requested a meeting where he grilled me for almost an hour about content in social media posts. At the end of this meeting, he said he would monitor all my social media, but was particularly bothered by my post exposing the harmful racialized curriculum, books, and projects. The message to me was and is clear. I am being watched. Monday, September 27th, the colleague demanded a mediation occur to discuss offense she took when I requested to collaborate. Again, multiple emails to be asking to meet during my lunch and times that were not possible for me. This teacher would not say what offended her about my request, just that she was demanding a meeting with an administrator present. On September 29th, before a faculty meeting, my union rep made it a point to say teachers circulated a petition about me. What exactly is in this petition, he would not say. Judicial Watch has served a public records request seeking the petition against me. The same day, during a faculty meeting, while I was sharing reading strategies with co-teachers, a colleague screamed in front of the group that he did not want to hear my crap about anything. This outburst was unsettling and obviously related to my speaking out in the media. The faculty member later apologized in passing, citing a bad day, but prior to my speaking out about the curriculum in 22 years, a colleague never had a bad day that caused them to scream at me this way. On October 1st, a faculty member told me that students were starting to call me racist. The teacher said that when she asked the students why they feel this way, they could not respond. The administration was well aware of this retaliation and hostility as it was happening. My union also is aware, but I have not confidence the union will stick up for me and protect my rights. So today, I formally filed an internal complaint about the retaliation and hostile work environment. I fear that I am being set up for discipline, transfer, or even termination, so I need to go on record and go public. The impact of all this retaliation has been hard on me personally. I love teaching and I care about my students, and the constant badgering takes precious time away from doing my job. As I watch education transform from a student-centered career to a highly racialized, politicized battleground, I am profoundly sad for all students who are caught in the middle of this hostile environment. And then she says she'll post updates on her situation as it is happening in Rhode Island school on her Twitter account, at Ramona Bessinger, which I am going to follow, and I'll leave a link to her Twitter account if you want to follow her, because I'm fascinated by this kind of shit. And, good luck to her. And here it says her profile, teacher, mother, proud American. So, oh boy, it's just... it's amazing. In the rest of the links today, I'm not going to get to them, but here we go. A Minnesota school has removed the F grade and allow retest to, quote, combat systemic racism. Let me, here, I'm going to put this in an archived article here. And, because I got to go back and read that one myself. I got to see which school it is. I'm sure I can guess. Oh, it was archived. This school, let's see. What school is it? A Minnesota middle school said it will no longer allow teachers to give a student an F grade for failure as part of the school's effort to tackle systemic racism. In a video share, Sunrise Park Middle School principal Christina Pierre explained that the new grading system will replace F with an I, which stands for incomplete, and teachers will no longer assign a letter grade to students who receive below 50% for their work. Below 50%. Wow. Now, look, I don't have any problem if a student gets an F on something to allowing them to study up and retake. That's a great idea. It makes kids learn from their failures. But the idea that you can't give an F grade, fuck you. I don't know. Anyway, you can read that article on your own. Also from PJ Media. There's a murder pandemic. 4th straight month that there are more homicides than COVID deaths in Washington, D.C. Shocker. Also from the Washington Free Beacon, 1/3 of the inmates that were freed by Kentucky governor have been charged with a felony after release. So they released a bunch of prisoners in Kentucky due to the stupid 19. And 1/3 of them have been charged with a felony while they were out. Couldn't have seen that coming. Also from PJ Media, Facebook's having a very bad day. I didn't get to it today. We'll probably talk a little bit about Facebook tomorrow. Yes, they are back online, albeit with a few bugs, the remaining outages. Facebook Twitter account and its CTO tweeted updates in the last hour. That was at 7:24 p.m. yesterday. There's also a whistleblower at Facebook. I don't know what it's about, so we'll go into that a little bit tomorrow. But anyway, the top Democratic operative Bill Burton advising the Facebook whistleblower. I wonder what I gotta go back and find out what this is about. Facebook whistleblower who revealed herself in the 60-minute interview is getting strategic communications guidance from a top Democratic operative, according to a source with direct knowledge of the relationship, which was confirmed by another half dozen sources with indirect knowledge of the partnership. I haven't read about this yet, so we'll get into this tomorrow. But anyway, there's 3 articles about this in the end of my tabs here, so we'll try to get into that tomorrow. But that's got to be it for today because I'm out of time. Hey, I got to thank all of you here for being here. Also, real quick, thank you, Tyler F. Oh my gosh, a whole bunch of. Here's the article. Okay, Pennsylvania House Democrat. I saw this article. Lexi, thank you. This Democrat in Pennsylvania. I'm going to put this one in the tabs too for now if you haven't seen it. Pennsylvania Democrat introduced a bill for forced sterilizations for people who have too many kids. Like, it's a Gateway pundit. I'm not a fan of Gateway. I like Jim, but sometimes he's a little hyperbolic. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Let me give you the gist of this. You can read this article yourself. Pennsylvania Democrat Christopher Robb sent out a memorandum to all House members regarding his legislation that will enforce reproductive responsibility among men. The bill will force men to undergo vasectomies within 6 weeks of having their 3rd child or their 40th birthday, whichever comes first. The legislation includes a $10,000 reward for whoever snitches to the proper authority on those who have failed to submit to forced sterilization within the allotted time. The bill will also include legal actions for unwanted pregnancies against inseminators who wrongfully conceive a child with them. I'm just going to let you read that one on your own because I got to go. But good Lord, people, there are the whole boy.
China is asshole. China is asshole. China is asshole.
A little influence from China, maybe? I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the show for today. I'm here Monday through. Before I even do my spiel, remind you, if you haven't hit the like button, do it now, because you may be forced to not be able to watch me next week. So just hit the like button and pretend you like me. Also, good morning, Ham and Beans. I just noticed you were in the chat. I hope you all have a wonderful Tuesday. We'll be welcoming my mother to town this evening, and my show will go on in the mornings because she's from California and tends to sleep in later because of the time zone change when she comes to visit. So that's cool. And then we hang out at night. And I'm on vacation this week, so I have more time to hang out with her. So that's perfect. Y'all have oh, did I do this twice? I think I opened it twice. I will close one of them so you don't have to look at it twice. There we go. Close that. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT until daylight savings time, because I don't know how that all changes around the world. And if you'd be so kind to hit the like button, share the stream out before, during, and after the stream. If you're watching on replay, throw a comment in the comment section so I know you were here. And if you'd like to sponsor the show, there's several ways to do that listed in the description down below. And 3 of the 4 do not require you to give Susan 30% of your dollars. So thanks for those who sponsored the show today. A whole bunch of you today. Gunfox61, Black Hebrew Israelite, Maddie, and those 3, very generous of you today. Thank you for so much. I appreciate you. Also, go check out the Discord server. If you haven't joined it, join that. There's always a lot of good information on there. That's it. Thank you so much. Gotta go. My name's PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.